The year was still 1997, and it was only a few months after the first attempt at the Texas Air Races that didn't go quite like I had expected. Yeah, it started hitting me here.
Yeah, I think we're approaching Cobra here.
Cobra must be
running
there.
About 19 inches.
Sickness 3-1 com.
Sierra Cobra.
Sierra Cobra. So chunks and things went from fun to miserable real quick. That poor kid. I feel bad for me.
You just take it easy up there for a while and let me know when you're all back to normal. There's no hurry. Okay.
As you can see, I was very sick, and upon landing, I was done. I guess I wasn't cut out to be a fighter pilot.
Yes,
But my dad wouldn't let me give up. He encouraged me to continue pursuing my dreams and a military career if that's what I wanted to do. And he echoed what the late Don Wiley said right after I said I could never be a fighter pilot.
No, if you flew a second time, I can almost promise you'd be fine.
So after this event, I didn't give up. I actually went full nerd. At the time, Jane's ATF Gold came out, which for those of you that don't know, that was a combat simulation that allowed you to dogfight with TCP/IP over 14.4 kilobytes per second modem. So I was finally doing multiplayer and dogfighting people and using some of the skills I had learned the first time around. And also around that time, Jane's Longbow Gold came out, which I loved. In fact, I loved it so much I was around the virtual military world telling people I was a real Apache pilot so that they would take me seriously, which is another story altogether. Probably not the best thing, but at 14, whatever. Yeah, so I was pretty much all in. And in fact, everybody says, yeah, you know, Top Gun is what inspired you. Well, when Top Gun came out, I was 3 years old, and I didn't watch Top Gun and understand it until this time. And I watched Top Gun, and then I watched it again, and then I watched it again, and I loved it. And I thought I was Maverick Jr. And so my dad at the time, you know, when we first did this, my dad was just dating my stepmom, and then they got married in April. I was fairly angry about that because my mom had died in December of 95, so just about 18 months prior. And, you know, as any angry teenager feels like he's, you know, his mom's being replaced, I wasn't, you know, I wasn't coping well with that revelation. But my dad decided, you know, hey, let's do it again. And in fact, he was going to be my adversary. So what a trooper he was. He wasn't a pilot. He wasn't, he had no aviation background. In fact, he was Army National Guard as a maintenance officer. He did it just for me. And I, looking back, I'm very grateful, you know, that he was supporting me. And I think he just wanted me to get back in the cockpit and prove to myself that I could do it. And one of the cool things about having a stepmom who's a nurse is she recommended that we take Dramamine to help us not get sick. So even though Phantom had said, yep, dude, if you do this again, you won't get sick, she said, why don't you try some Dramamine? You know, nurses like to push drugs. And we both took Dramamine on this thing. So at the time, they had just bought a motorhome, an RV. I've got a special needs brother, so it was easier to travel with him. And we loaded up and went to Conroe, Texas for the flight, which me, Typhoon, 14 years old, versus my dad, they gave him a Bandito call sign.
3, 2, 1, flight off.
We did the brief. It was a hot July day. I had fully immersed myself in the Top Gun, I'm Maverick thing. So, you know, 14-year-old mover here with the Ray-Ban sunglasses, the white t-shirt, the pop collar, the zipper down to the navel, rolled up sleeves, and the Kazansky watch that I got because of that movie. So I was fully on board with the fighter pilot mentality. And as we're taxiing out, my instructor asked me if I was then considering a career as a fighter pilot.
Well, at first I wasn't, but after this, I kind of decided I might want it.
So as you can see at this point, yes, the answer was I had not previously, and it was time to start considering a career.
I kind of like the idea of the Navy, but the Air Force sounds a bit easier.
Couldn't decide, so eventually in my actual career, I ended up doing both. But Never got to land on the ship though. We do the formation takeoff. My instructor lets me do some flying. I'm a lot more comfortable now. I'm a lot more confident, and even flying out there, I'm now realizing that I'm not sick. And now, granted, the first time I wasn't sick at this point either, but there's so much more confidence.
This is a lot better than last time because I don't feel sick and I feel like I'm doing it right. Mind if I do a roll real quick? Not bad at all.
And I'm just in this mindset of I'm having a good time. And so, now I'm really just wanting to learn.
I'll pull the nose up a bit to lose airspeed.
We continue out to the airspace. I try to talk to my dad, which we couldn't figure out how to get the comms going back and forth between each other.
Hey, Bandito, how you doing? That'd be you, Dad.
Push up, Otis.
Say again?
Can't hear you.
Close your canopy.
You read me?
Roger. You there? Looks like he's having some problems.
Fly out to our working area, and we start doing maneuvers. We do our exercises, high yo-yo and stuff, and now I'm very aggressive. I'm trying to pull as many G's as possible, ham fisting just a little bit, but still doing a lot better than before. And
We're just doing lead and lag here.
Gotta make it earn it.
one of the things that's funny is like I'm looking over, like I'm in a left-hand turn, but I'm looking over my right shoulder. So I'm trying to be engaged and look around, which is something 14-year-old mover can do, but 38-year-old mover, not so much. No, that's a good way to hurt your neck, and probably did.
It turned into a maneuver up his yo-yo. There he is.
We do the fights themselves.
And how's Junior over there doing? Good. Pop's gonna kick his butt now.
In his dream.
And the first fight, I had the use of the vertical, and I just was way too aggressive. And I'm ham fisting, because I'm reefing back on the stick. I'm very aggressive, which is good. Being aggressive is good, but when you're too aggressive, there's no finesse. We end up doing this kind of mini spin and
we
not
set up another one here in a minute.
achieving the objective. Don't get a kill.
Lost
Now
him.
we knock it off. Hi at your 6 o'clock.
Next time I'm gonna do an Immelman or something.
Second one, we had the flat. I was able to successfully deny my dad from getting the shot, but it still wasn't really a victory.
Man, my neck's killing me. How you doing over there, Dad?
How's your stomach?
Great, what about you?
And the third one, we both had the use of the vertical.
Immelman. I lost him. All right, got him. Start her out.
Okay, we're knocking it off.
Stalemate.
Good break, good fight.
I goofed. I'm gonna climb it up to 7,000.
My dad was starting to feel a little sick at this point,
Okay, we're gonna have to cool down for just a minute.
which is to be expected. and we did some aerobatics, and I wanted to do, you know, pretty much everything. I was all about doing Immelmans, and I had all these ideas of tactics and stuff like that.
I just want to go inverted for a little while. All right. I want to try the split S. Hey, hey. All right, Emmo man.
We did some aerobatics, flew inverted, and I was excited. I was happy. I wasn't sick. This was awesome for me. We did the Indian country, and it really wasn't, I mean, me versus my dad. He did really well for somebody who had no aviation background, no simulator background. You know, it worked out for him.
I got him. I got him. All right, they're mine. Not this time. I got him.
We're going to knock it off here and go wings left.
They said I got the kill, but, you know, if I had to go back and assess it, I would say probably not. You know, not really the kind of kill you'd want.
All right. Pentagon is just notifying your next of kin.
After that, can I have his stereo?
What I took away from that, I would say, you know, on my career progression, that point was the point where I realized not only could I do it, you know, because I gotten sick the first time, I realized I could do this without getting sick. Now, granted, you know, I did have the Dramamine, but I realized it was fun and I wanted to do it.
Now I definitely want to join the Air Force and Navy.
And this was my career paths.
Great flight. Had a lot of fun.
I was very thankful for doing that. We came up, we pitched out, we landed.
Kilo, flight runway 17 right, clear to land.
Nice landing. Had a lot of fun too. Thanks.
And, you know, you can see at the end, there's my stepmom and my brother in front of the motorhome. And that is where, you know, the first one was kind of the initial spark, but this was the flame. This was I want to do this for a living. And the instructor I had was very good and very helpful and was very like, hey, you know, you can go get a letter of recommendation. You can actually make this a career. You should consider the academy, the Air Force Academy or the Naval Academy and stuff. This is the right time. You know, you're at the right age. Go do it. And from this point, from 97 to 99, because I'll go back to the Texas Air Races 2 more times. Once was a weather cancel. Once was one more. I was on a career progression to go to the academy. And that was all I wanted to do. I wanted to be a fighter pilot and go. Now, granted, in 99 is when the optometrist told me you'll never fly anything. So that was kind of a downer. But up until this point, I was all in. In fact, 2 weeks later, I sent an email to Don Phantom Wiley. And if you don't remember from the last video, Phantom was unfortunately killed in one of these aircraft in 2003 when the wing, he was doing the exact same maneuvers and the wing folded on him because they had a wing spar issue. That an AD came out in 99. But my email said, Phantom, you probably don't remember me, but I flew with you in February. Last weekend, I flew against my dad, and the instructors told me to ask you about Air A status in the William Tell competition. So here I am. I wanted this. If you did it 5 times, you got a patch. I have a few questions for you. Answer them when you get time. I can wait. First, my instructor said that if I plan on going to the Air Force or Naval Academy, which I'm interested in, I should talk to you about writing a recommendation due to my experience with the Texas Air Aces. I'm only 14 now, but most agree that it's a perfect time to start planning for things like that. Second, could you please send me some info about the William Tell competition and how I can earn my Air Ace patch? My father has stated that it is a possibility for me to return to the Texas Air Aces for a third trip when my birthday comes around in February. In closing, I must thank you for your wisdom, saying that I would probably not get sick if I did it again, which is true. This time, I got to laugh at my dad as he got sick. Well, I hope I'm not nagging or taking up too much of your time. I'm just very enthusiastic about flying in your program, and I think it's a great accomplishment. Best of luck in Check 6 Typhoon. And Don remembered me. He said, we sure do remember you. Happy to hear of your military academy plans. You'd make a great pilot and officer. It would be my pleasure to write letters of recommendation. It's great hearing from you. Communicate often and let me know where I can help. Don Phantom Wiley. What a great guy. I wish he'd have been around. You know, I mean, I'd have invited him to my winging and probably, you know, interviewed him on this channel. But you can just see where the spark is and the progression of kind of my career and how fortunate I was to have a father that, yeah, you know, I mean, I was an angry, you know, 14-year-old, just lost his mom. He and I fought a lot, just in general. But honestly, when I became an adult, he and I became best friends, and we're best friends until he died when I was 30. And he was always supportive. He was one of those guys that was not, he wouldn't push, you know, he'd basically say, I'll support whatever you do, but he would always give me, you know, the right guidance when I needed it. And, you know, he gave me the opportunity. Sometimes, you know, he didn't show it the best of ways, but he would provide with experiences or gifts like this, which was really awesome. So I've got two more we can share if you guys want to see it. The second one's pretty funny too, where I flew with my stepbrother. And then the third, the final one is basically me versus another instructor, which I thought was, yeah, pretty funny. 15-year-old mover at the time, just awkward teenager. But it worked out. You know, I ended up flying the F-16 and F-18 and T-38, and I've been very fortunate in my career. It's been an interesting journey, and this is where it all started. So it's really cool to go back and look at this. Anyway, hope you guys are having a great 2022. Let me know in the comments what you think. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.